Hello, beautiful people. Thank you so much for connecting. Now, today's short share is in and around a very important topic, and this could be the very thing that will change your vibration and allow you to experience a shift, quite a radical shift. And if you can relate to some of these things, this could be because this is what is part of your own energetic signature, if you like, and therefore an energetic signature is what you magnetically attract into your life and into your circumstances and your experiences. And that is that when you know that you're coming from a place of true, authentic integrity, and you know yourself really, really well, and you can find your own center, then that would lend itself to not needing to seek approval of others, not needing to seek validation from others, and not needing to also seek the love from another because we feel deficient within ourselves. Now, all of those things that I've mentioned essentially summarize what a lot of us fall into, and that is people pleasing. And we sometimes will be detracting from our own energy in order to either gain something from an external source, that being another person, or to please, the organization we work for and the people, therefore, that are part of that organization. We might be, trying to please a parent or, a sibling, merely because we have this almost what I would call a default in the system, meaning our own system. It's like a distortion within ourselves, because if we grew up feeling and knowing our own sense of power, then we would be able to channel that, and we would be an empowered soul, and we would be able to manifest our desires and our dreams quite easily. And some people do this really, really well, and that would be because they've come in with a really good, strong sense of self. Now, for many of us, and this isn't bagging our parents or the people that grew us up who was of our greatest influence, this is just to say that more often than not, if there was deficiencies and you missed out in those areas that I mentioned, approval, validation, and acceptance, etc., you may find that you are behind the eight ball, so to speak, or you feel like you've constantly had to do extra and give more of yourself in order to get something in return. It is really quite a distortion, and I know this quite well is because for the majority of my life, this is how I ran my own show, of course, until I decided that it was time to change the movie and the set and all the people in it. Which, for the most part can be quite daunting for some people to hear that, but I literally needed to prune and weed out of my life those people and things that were draining my energy supply. And once I worked on my own vibration and healed those inner parts of myself that had become quite traumatized in the process, I then was able to magnetically attract the people and situations and circumstances that were more in alignment with the new version of myself. So what I wanted to share with you today is some really clear ways or some indicators of where you may be experiencing this. So you may also relate to what I've just said, but how would it actually show up in your body? Well, it usually is because we're blocked in our base, our sacral, and our solar plexus, possibly all three, or maybe one is particularly deficient. And so if we're a people pleaser, we're going to find that we're more than likely using our adrenals a lot. So you might be someone who suffers from burnout, or you just have like nervous stress disorders, a lot of anxiousness. You might even feel like pent up anger underneath that you're always trying to keep the lid on top. We may also start to see, issues like in our joints, like we might even get, really, really aching knees, ankles, hips, glutes, anything from below the waist. And these are indicators that you may be off your path, you may be misaligned, you may not be giving your energy to the right things, and therefore the universe is trying to show you ways to redirect your energy in a more healthful way. Second to that would be in the sacral center. If you're not really connected to your creative self and you're not following your own dreams and aspirations, you may be quite switched off. You may be at times numb and disconnected from your own GPS, your own emotions, and you may, as a female, may actually have reproductive problems, gynae problems. Even as a male, you might experience that, or you just can't bring something to life. Now, it is the place where we, for the women, our womb space, it's really an important place for us to really hone in on. So if we're coming from a deficient place, it may even be extra hard to conceive a baby. And that could very much be because we've been in this pattern. And it's not just because of this. These are just little examples. Of course, you know, if you have been people pleasing and seeking approval from the outside world, you may have just become quite disconnected from your own creative center, or your reproductive system becomes disrupted. So it's not functioning the way it should be in a healthy way. And of course, the solar plexus is our digestion. It's where everything goes on, the things around us that we're processing and assimilating. And if you're not liking what's going on around you, or you're in a funk because you're doing all this people pleasing and you're negating your own sense of self, then we may start to see that in digestive issues such as, you know, bloating, indigestion, can be a whole host of things that go on, anxiousness, that, you know, knot in the stomach, overeating, a whole heap of things I could go into there. So these are just little indicators that you may be in an imbalanced state, and it could be because you run this pattern of being a people pleaser. So there's a couple of things you really need to identify with today in order to move through this, and that is, one, to actually be able to reveal what's going on beneath the surface. So you've got to reveal it first, and that is just bringing your awareness to it. Second to that, once you've revealed it, you then give the opportunity to actually feel what you need to feel, to realign yourself to, you know, better feeling thoughts and better feeling emotions, to auto-correct, so to speak, and to do it consistently, because it takes time to flex a different type of muscle, if you like, a different, you know, create a different habit or a different pattern that's healthier for you. The next part of it is actually heal, because there may be aspects of you, you know, if you're giving away your power and you're people pleasing, where you may then start to become resentful of that. So there is definitely an opening and a pathway for healing. And once you can see that there is an aspect of you that needs to be healed, it's then the opportunity to transform it into something that is better. And we use the term alchemy is very much around transforming lead into gold. So it's actually looking at, okay, what was the aspect that may not have been in alignment with me, where there may have been some trauma wrapped around that. I did all these things for others and I didn't really get, you know, a perfect balanced energy exchange, whatever the case may be. So once you can ascertain that, you then have something that you can transmute it or transform it into whatever that lesson is. So I'm going to leave it at that, and I want you to use this possibly as a journaling prompt, and it is, what would it be like? This opens up the potentiality for options to come to you and opportunities. What would it be like if I could be, feel, or think like an empowered soul? So try it, see what comes forth. What would it be like if I could be, feel, and think as an empowered soul? You can do your own version of that, but that is just a little starter to see what you can do to shift your awareness around maybe an old pattern that you are still playing out, to be able to transform it into something that is more healthy for you. So I hope that's been helpful. I look forward to doing more shares like this. Take care, many blessings, and we'll talk again soon.